Yeah, it is certainly an interesting week, right? I mean, we've got the FOMC, we've got a holiday on Thursday, we've got uh, triple witching, what they used to call quadruple witching, but it's really kind of triple now on Friday. Lots going on. We may just kind of see these markets digest information and wait for new information Wednesday and into Friday. I don't know. We'll see. Here's the 30-minute chart. However, overnight inventory is long, starting down here. Here we are. It's been a straight line pretty much all evening. We're still in range from Friday, but above value. I could see this market trying to continue to push up to weekly kickoff high. That really looks like an interesting area up there for me. It's 60, 91. Jay, you were talking about 6,100, big fat round number. Really could be some decent opportunities up there. But with this overnight inventory, as long as it is, we can't take out Friday's high. Then I could see a lot of these overnight longs getting a little bit nervous and pushing us back into range and back into value. We will see how that plays out. Jay, your thoughts?
Taking a look at the 30-minute, this looks very similar to June 5th. If we go back to June 5th, there was some news. I don't recall exactly what it was, but there was some news that we kind of opened with a gap down, and we just it was a trend
Rallied
update
all
for
night.
the rest. Yeah, rally all night for the rest of the session, where that gap down was the open for the session. Today looks very similar, so I'm cautious about taking any shorts in this market until we get up near that
Mm,
weekly kickoff high or that 6100 for that reason. Um,
mhm.
we think that bad news is going to bring the market down, and it has not proven so. So, uh, yeah, looking to buy this up into that level, but very similar to that June 5th price action.
Thank you, Jay. Looking at the profile, I mean, it was a normal variation day. Both extremes of the initial balance were extended. We did close back inside the initial balance, kind of a normal variation. A little bit more of a range on Friday for the S&Ps. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq now. Starting again with the weekly chart, we are continuing to see one time framing higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. I mean, it's feeling a little bit low as far as momentum is concerned, but there is a lot of information coming out this week. Jay, what do you think of this daily? I mean, it's almost the same as the S&P.
Yeah, very very similar. Very similar. You know what, Hogue? I feel like I missed a couple days being out traveling. I was only gone for 2 days, but it felt like longer. But then I'm looking at these charts and it's like we still haven't gone anywhere. I know
No, right.
the one of the last times I was on the morning prep with you, we were talking about these markets being in range, and we're still in that range where we're kind
Mm.
of slowly channeling higher, but really not much as far as direction goes in the equities right now.
All right. Let's go to the 30, which is again, it's the sale the same story as the S&P is very long overnight inventory. Maybe we open with a gap and we can see the market push up towards that 215 weekly kickoff high. But a very long overnight inventory. Lots of hurry up and wait is what I'm feeling in these markets with with everything that's coming out and everything that's happening. But or hurry up and wait usually to the equities means grind higher. We added 1,200 or 2,000 in open interest on the Nasdaq on Friday, which again, it's not going to help us. It's rollover blur profile, normal variation, extended on both sides of the initial balance, closing inside of it. Nothing really different here in the S&P and the Nasdaq. What are your thoughts on this, G?
So in the Nasdaq on the 30-minute, I'm looking at the 200 moving average, which is at 22,023. We kind of traded above it, traded up above it, used it as a support
Mm-hmm.
already. I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
get, if I could, get some longs in that area. Same thing in the S&P, and trade up to that 22,100. But yeah, still very much in the range. The higher we get up here, the less likely I'm willing to just jump in and buy it because the market has shown in this area the last couple of times it's rejected. It needs a catalyst to get above that. It looks like, and we're not seeing it. But like you said, Hogue, channeling upwards slowly, slow grind up. Uh,
Hmm.
those are days where if I found myself trying to short too early, I get chopped up. So patience today for sure.
What would it take you to get into a short? A 3 bar reversal, some sort of structure building, and then breaking to the downside?
So it would take somewhat of if it was so we see sometimes these high volume exhaustion moves at extremes, right? So it looks like it's going to keep rallying, and then we see unsustainable volume at a high or a low, and then a 3 bar reversal. I'll take it off of that, but um, outside of that, yeah, it's a tough trade to take. But we can see some of these rounding patterns that we see on this 30-minute chart. They did end up being great shorts, but they took six hours to play out for this one. Took another 4 hours to play out, and we're day trading here, so right. So we we do have a time constraint on our trades. So if I do take a short, I'm thinking about how much time do I have to give it for it to play out.
Right. Right. Yeah. And as we all know, if we wait for confirmation, it usually costs us in trade location.
Right.
Preempting, you take your chances when you're preempting, but it can help you kind of risk a little bit less on a trade. It's going to be an interesting day. You're going to be with us on fast markets, so
Yes, I
that's
will.
going to be good. All right. All right. How about crude oil weekly? Well, we talked about the amount of energy that was in this market as we compiled a whole bunch of new open interest in this ranging area here between 64 and 78. And then we got the news. We got news that said, all right, now we've got to use some of that energy. Let me get rid of this. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna use some of that energy, and we are going to see this market come back into, well, long time frame range. Actually, I mean, we were in this range for more than a year, and we're right back in the middle of it. Big week last week. Was there anything about last week on this longer time frame chart that sticks out to you, Jay?
That the fact that we came up back up to the highs of that range, near that $80 level. We didn't get exactly to $80, but pretty close to it. But that's the high of the range going back for a
Hmm.
couple of years now. Um,
Hmm.
I was just measuring this, and I guess I missed most of the move in crude. I guess this happened Thursday, Friday, but that's a 20% move low to high uh,
Hmm.
in crude oil, and like you said, we're right back pretty much right at the middle of it right now at the $71 level. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
be paying attention to crude. This seems like an interesting market right now, just with everything's going on. Um, I'm gonna look at this $71 level for potential opportunity throughout the day.
71. There you go. All right, let's take a look at the daily. And yeah, I mean, once we broke out here on Wednesday, uh, actually, I think it was even before that. The weekly kickoff high last week was 65.70. So 65.70 was right about there. And that's where the breakout started on Wednesday. Continued to kind of push higher on Thursday. Friday was when the real rally began. But look at it pulling back now, Jay. I mean, I'm kind of feeling like this thing is just going to fall back into a higher area range. What do you thought? What do you think?
Yeah, that's what it looks like, Hogue. This 71 area is interesting. I do remember it was 65.70, the weekly kickoff high last week. I do remember us tracking that level, and
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, once we see some buying above that, then this market could go." Did I
Mhm.
expect it to go the way it did, and run 15% from there?
Right.
Not necessarily, but not surprised to see a
Right.
pullback. But I also think that this move happened on news, right? On escalations of war and things like that. And we know that when that
Right.
happens, crude tends to rally. Um, so I'm curious to see what happens when we get back into this range, right? Because the environment has changed, right? We were sitting in a
Right.
range before, waiting for something to happen, and then it happened. So we will see. But this 71 area, if we see some buyers stepping in here, I might join them.
And this will be the last day we trade July crude.
Okay.
Tomorrow, we'll be trading the August contract. Fine to trade either today. The volume is about even. but be ready to move to August tomorrow. Take a look at the 30-minute chart now. So overnight inventory, long, way short, way short. There is a gap Thursday to Friday. The top of that gap, 71.48. We start falling into that gap. It could bring us down to 68.32. I don't know that that's going to happen. Nobody does. But if we do close this session gap, that again is going to take us down to about well, just about 68.40. This I don't think is on here just absolutely perfect. But we have that session gap Thursday to Friday. We get into that. Gaps have a tendency to be filled as far as weaknesses in structure. All most of the weaknesses in structure that we can see on this chart are below price. We've got lots of naked points and controls. This gap, there's lots of things that can go price can go seeking below. I think that's kind of a far-fetched thing with the tensions that are going on overseas. But what do we know? I mean, you got to trade what you see. We're going to
Right.
open with a gap. Nope, we're going to open maybe with a gap. Right now, we're right at the low from Friday. If we open with this gap, and we can't fill that gap, or we use the gap high, the gap high, or Friday's low, 71.48 is resistance, then we could see this market rotate back lower. I don't think it's necessarily going to break market structure that much either. I might actually, do enough to even out inventory that got too long at the highs here. You can just see the laggard buyers up here that just, keep pushing, getting rejected, pushing, getting rejected. Um, so I don't know. We're gonna see how this plays out. I'm hoping we open with a gap and we leave that opening range at the high of the session and can take a couple of nice profits on some shorts there. But we'll have to see how this plays out. Jay, what do you think?
So overnight inventory is short. We did close the overnight gap that we had, and if this 71 level and I said I'm looking at the 71 area as an interesting spot, but I need to see some buying coming in
Mhm.
here, and they haven't done so already. If that gives out Hogue, then I'm looking at the 200 moving average on the 30-minute chart, which is at basically 69. And you were saying 68.30 is a potential target there. I can see that as well. Um, hmm. It's an interesting market. I think I'm going to pay a lot of attention to crude today. It's been presenting some pretty big ranges on the daily for opportunity. And if the equities are going to either slow grind up, uh, there may be some easier trades. But crude is interesting.
Eh, Awesome. Awesome. All right. Let's rip through gold real quick. I'm sure Eddie has some news about crude before we get to it. We kind of already looked a little bit at it, but on the weekly chart here, there's nothing left but the all-time high above. 34.77 is weekly kickoff high. Our overnight high was 34.7630. I missed it by 7 ticks, Jay. I'm slipping. I apologize. Um, but the market overall, I mean, in the longer time frames, is still very, very much in a healthy upside auction. We added 9,100 in open interest on that push. The push on Friday at the end of the day. This is the weekly chart. I'm just gonna go to the daily real quick here. So this was, 1, 2, 3. We added open interest. We had a pretty healthy upside auction. Tested the weekly kickoff high today. Found that to be resistant. We're pulling back a little bit, kind of like 3 up days and a downtrend. No, it's an uptrend. What do you think of this, Jay?
Looking at the weekly, we opened up near the high of last week. We opened up this week near the high of last week's high.
Hmm.
And if you look at the weekly chart, there aren't many times where we don't trade 50% of that range, right? Where I'm bullish gold, but I wouldn't be surprised that we
Hmm.
get a little bit of a pullback today. Um,
Okay.
Down to 3400s, and then maybe continue the rally from there. Uh, just because of where we opened up the week and kind of already seeing a pullback. Uh, so I'm bullish. I would love to buy around that 3400 level.
And that is going to close the session gap from Thursday to Friday. I've got it on the 30-minute chart now. So that gap closed from Thursday to Friday. These are session gaps, regular trading hours session gaps. 34.1980. finishes the closing of the gap. The top of the gap again, 34.4170. Market's been just kind of holding below that the top of that gap, 34.4170, and really just consolidating. There's not a whole lot of directional activity so far from what we're seeing. I mean, overnight inventory we're looking at as pretty short. The market opened with a gap, closed that overnight gap, and we're trading here now. Maybe a little bit of reconciliation of all of those overnight shorts, but we're still holding below last week's low. We're holding inside of this gap. There's a 200 session moving average on the 30-minute chart is coming right in between. Jay, what do you think of gold here? Where's it going? Where do you think?
Hogue, if we knew where this was going, we could end the stream right here, take a 50 lot, and we'll talk to everybody next week. But
Do it.
or I
Do
mean,
it.
why take a 50 if we know where it's going, right? That's not even enough size. But I do see this 200 moving average similar to what we were looking at in crude oil. It's right around that. It's at 33.98 half right now. Um, I could
Mhm.
imagine by the time we get down there, this moving average will move up a little bit. It'll be near that 3,400. I do like where you just said 34.18s, 34.19s, um, as a potential area for opportunity as well. Uh, but yeah, we'll see. I think this 200 moving average, we'll probably see a test of that sometime soon. 33.98
That
half right
I
now.
would relish that opportunity down there.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, this one you can maybe give it a little bit more room. Again, anything we say here is for educational purposes only, but it seems like a better place to establish a position and limit risk, and maybe accept a little bit more risk. Where if it's going to break, then hey, yeah, that trade idea is wrong. But
Right.
you give it a little bit more space because it's a potentially higher probability, uh, especially with that moving average trending upwards.
Yeah. And so far during the regular trading hour session, it's just been chop. It's just been back and forth,
Yep.
kind of slow, no real momentum, no real tempo. Try and stay patient if you're trading gold today. All right, Eddie. We're getting ready for the opening range in crude oil. What you
I
got as
got
far
about a
as any
minute
news?
here. You know what? Basically, the thing is here, we've seen it come off the top here, 77.49, breaking all the way down to 71.26, who just tagged the bottom a little while ago. I mean, reason being Israel and Iran exchanging fresh strikes over the weekend. We did see WTI earlier rise 0.5%, 71.64 a barrel. Right now, it is around 71.69 a barrel. Really not much but to watch for headlines here. And that's probably going to be the direction on how we're going to see crude trade today. So, eyes on the prize. Back to you guys. And crude's open. Good morning, crude.
Yes, it is. 24 tick opening range so far. Kind of using
Getting
the
wider, yeah.
the gap high there, 71.48 is a little bit of support there.
33 tick opening range in crude right now.
Wow.
33 ticks inside the range, holding
Maybe I'll scale
the
down to
high of that
micros for
gap
this.
support.
It's a lot of
What's
risk.
that? What's that, JD?
I think I'm gonna scale down to micro
Micros?
contracts here.
Overnight inventory short. Holding or yesterday's low. Overnight low just below. Overnight low 71.26.
We're looking about $400 worth of risk if we were trading minis, which is just a little too wide for these opening range trades, I think.
Especially
peeling
as
off half of
scarce as
that.
they've been in crude oil.
Yep. So we're peeling off half of that by switching over to micros. There we go. And we're
break
in.
the
Just got
upside.
tagged in. Long 5 micro crude, 71.85. And we will take $200 worth of risk on this trade. Checking back in on that gold trade. So the 1 minute triggered a long, which was stopped out. The 3 and 5 minute opening range trade both triggered shorts, and now we're trading back at the upper end of the opening range. So it looks like a 3 and a 5 minute short opening range trading gold are about to get tagged out also. Might get a long signal soon if you're looking at a 15-minute opening range, but so far both sides of gold, both sides of the opening range have been tagged so far.
Mm-hmm. Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss is right.
This crude trade is looking pretty good.
It is looking pretty
Levels
good
the
so far.
CYA at
71.45 CYA.
40 ticks.
40 ticks.
Right.
See how this plays out. Does everybody understand why we scaled down for micros there? Just taking a little risk off the table. Again, I think $400 worth of risk is quite a lot for these opening range trades.
For an opening range trade, sure. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on your risk appetite too. You know, I mean,
It does, yeah.
we're really just kind of testing this. Although I've tested it for decades. But it's streaky, you know. And you got to trade what you're comfortable losing, because it loses a lot. You know, there's not a very high probability trade, but when it plays out beautifully.
It sure does, yeah. Again, decent track record so far putting these trades on.
Yeah.
We were up in April. We were up in May. We're just about a scratch in June so far.
I mean, this is probably the most mechanical trade in my quiver.
Yep. And we're working on automating these too. Coach Robert's building that out for us as we speak. So no more pointing and clicking coming soon for these opening range trades.
Put the trade on.
Order
and let it
filled.
work.
Oh no,
Mm-hmm.
bitch, man.
Saw some.
Dan
Looking
Trader-
for this
Dan
crap.
Trader,
Go ahead, JD.
Dan Trader wants us to full port it. Says full port it. It's Monday.
All right, jump right in.
Go big, and then go home.
Or go home.
Got a couple ticks in this crude oil trade so far. I don't hate it.
Really no size sitting at 72 here. Potential target.
Order
view up.
filled.
Overnight view up.
72.36.
Yeah.
Right around
Get
there.
ready for that.
How about
If we get to 2 hour on this, I'll peel a
liquidator,
couple off.
$80.
Get out.
Auto
80
liquidator,
bucks?
$80.
$80.
I don't have nothing on the.
Let's hold
Hope
this
if we get
till
to
we
2
get
hour
to
on this trade,
I think we
can
might
kick
come
off
down
the
here.
whole thing.
80.
80. Okay, I won't touch it. 80 is the
See
target.
if we
Mr. Hoagland has set the
See if we-
price.
can hooger this and add to it.
Told you. I didn't want to go there. I'm glad I got out. Look at this. This is.
All right. Jay, you were off for a couple of days. Just kind of getting back into the markets. Did you get a chance to do all your homework when you got back? Did you look at everything last week? Did you go through your journals? Did you take care of everything you got to take care of?
So I didn't get a great chance to, Hogue. I'm
Lost
going to be
the
honest. I have to be honest with this one. Sometimes life gets busy and
Lost the
you're
8
moving around.
and lost the
I feel like
20.
I'm just getting back into things right now.
Okay.
We did do At the Buzzer on Friday.
But
That was
lost the
before our
PWAP over
concert, so I don't
here.
remember I don't know if I remember what I said during that At the Buzzer
Running
segment,
to the
but we did it.
14.
We did
I'm
it.
glad I get out,
so
right?
So there's I do have a video journal about what happened last week.
That
So yeah, this week,
Okay.
you know, kind of getting back into things.
let me
You know,
see.
I don't know how eager I'll be to just jump right back into trades, because I know for my process, even when I'm not, you know, streaming and on Top Step TV, if I don't feel all the way there, then I'm very conscious about taking trades, just because, you know, you might be clicking buttons for no good reason. But I know you're about to go over the daily checklist, and let's get to it.
Right. So yeah, my week usually begins on Sundays when I,
Mm-hmm.
or even earlier in the weekend when I start looking at those weekly kickoff levels. When I look at everything that I did, everything that I thought about doing, how the performance was, all of those things. And if I get the time to do an emotional journal, which sometimes isn't that much, I'm always reviewing that as well. I like to review the emotional journal at the end of the day. I don't trade a lot. So it's not a heavy lift for me. But let's take a look at the checklist. And got the morning checklist. Is it complete? Well, this is the morning checklist. That would be the last check that I would check out. Pre-market research. Pre-market research. Here it is. What markets are you trading today? Is it in a trend? And if it is, in what time frame? Markets are fractal. It may be in a short time frame trend lower and a bigger, longer time frame trend to the upside. Uh, Previous day settlement. We're always talking about settlement. Net change, volume, open interest. Yes, open interest. You know, there's a link here on this page where you can learn a lot more
Look
about
at
volume
that.
and open interest. Then go through your levels. If you have levels outside of the
Not paying
levels
attention.
that you have on the top step
Crap.
levels,
Crap.
take a look. Take a look at them. Know
When you
where
know
they
your
are.
stuff,
Trade entry
you shouldn't
checklist.
be.
I would call this basically hypotheses. Okay, you know, what am I thinking
Somewhere
my first
here.
hypothesis is? Is the market going to open and go
66.
higher? Is the market going to open and go lower? Is the market going to open and go nowhere? Take a look at the bigger context. What is the market telling you? What direction is the market going, if any, and how good of a job is it doing getting there? Okay, so we have this checklist, and we're reviewing it. Let me see if we can make some improvements in coming days and weeks here. But there's time for notes there for you. Everything, you know, things to remember. Don't overtrade, of course. Don't trade impulsively. And that emotional journal to me has been one of the biggest tools to recognize the difference between impulse and intuition. Don't trade out of FOMO. Don't chase trades. Don't trade angry. Don't trade angry. Just don't do it. And so, you know, I think for the 4 markets we've done in the time we have, we're going to mark this checklist, the morning routine, complete. Now, you know, Jay was saying, you know, he was out for a couple of days last week. He's not really feeling all that connected with the markets, possibly just yet. So he's recognizing that, and recognition of that is a very important thing, right? I mean, we got to know when we're connected to the markets, and when maybe we should wait a little bit and make sure that we're in the right mindset, in the right everything. And mindset is a big part of it. You know, Jay, Eddie, JD. If you're not in the right mindset, don't trade. You know, things that are going on outside your life, outside of trading, in your life outside of trading, can affect the decision making process. You know, if you're angry or, you know, hungover or sick or tired, or all of those things are going to be important things to recognize to keep you out of trouble. You know, all of these things that we talk about are meant to keep you out of trouble. You know, I don't think there's anything that can totally keep you out of trouble, but at least it'll give you the recognition to recognize when internally you're at risk for doing something that you probably shouldn't do.
Totally agree, Johnny. Mindset. Number one. Number one on the checklist. How am
Mindset.
I? Yeah.
100% agree.
Oh my.
I know I'll be mentally there, Hogue, when Andre's energy opens up fast markets. You can't stay disconnected from the markets too long with Dre bringing in that energy. He's here today, so I'm ready to go. JD, you still in this crude oil trade?
Still in the crude trade. Looking back at the gold trade again, I think no matter what side of that trade you got on, you probably got stopped out, long or short.
Yeah. Yep.
Very choppy in gold right now.
Yeah.
Still long in
above
crude.
A. Yep. All right.
We're at
So
about 0.5 R
here's
on
the
this
deal
crude
in
trade
crude.
right now. What's the deal in crude?
Possible value acceptance play. We didn't open with a gap.
Okay.
Right? We opened right at the low of the range from Friday. But value low on this platform is saying yes, 72.13. And on TPO it's 72.04. So if we start spending time above 72.04, this 14 or 13 is value low. TPO value is a little bit lower, and that's just time based versus volume based. We can start to spend a little time above that 72.04 and then hold above that 72.18, 72. So what's it say here again? 72. Yeah, it's called 72.18 for volume value low. I mean, TPO value high could take us up to 73.25. Volume value high 73.42. So we can put some potential good upside opportunity in this market if, and that's if, we hold this opening range at the dead ass low.
Sounds good. Everybody out and push. Here we go.
Back to these numbers. 6 and 3, 11.
No,
Look at that.
we just need that acceptance and value. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But the opportunity does exist.
Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, you still liking this long too?
And it's
Yeah,
working no
I
more.
am. I was actually trying to figure out if there was a way for me to get into this trade. Looking at that,
It is.
I'd
We
use
are
a
plus.
3-minute chart, but same thing. We kind of held 50% of that opening range.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the opportunity to get in. But yeah, I do like this.
Q's. Yeah.
Looking good. Yeah, and target would
Questions
be
in chat.
72.50.
72.50. I like that
Yep.
too. All right.
Hey, here in chat, guys, Maria's asking, how do we change the settings for rollover? Well, here, if you've got Top Step X, it will do it automatically for you. As Mr. Dolby Time says here, yes, it's automatic if you got Top Step X. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie. And thank you for the question. Probably going to touch on rollover right at the end of opening call here. But there are, a lot of markets that are currently in rollover. Treasuries rolled over about a week and a half ago, but we do have equities and crude oil and gold.
Yep.
All, or not gold, and currencies, all in rollover. And yeah, the Top Step platform will roll them over for you, but we'll always let you know if you're on another platform when you want to switch. And today you can switch on any of them because crude oil volume is a little bit higher in the August contract today, but that's okay. You can still trade the July if you're already trading it. Equities, we've rolled into September. The volume is a little bit lower in the September, but I fully expect the volume to be greater by the end of the day in the September contract. So again, June and September contracts are fine for either of them, and currencies also in rollover. I don't think we've rolled the currencies yet.
Gold dropped pretty big here. It's an 8-point sell-off in gold just in the last minute.
Yeah, just give back our what few ticks we had in profit and crude just came back also. That is a nice dip in gold.
Sorry to cut you off there, Hope.
To what
No, no,
to
that's
what
good.
Hogue was
Oh,
saying, yeah,
markets.
the June contract was off the board on Friday. Last trading day for June contract and equities is Friday. If you're not on Top Step X, make sure you do roll to the September contract before Friday.
Who sold that crude oil?
Right? Who would do that to us?
Don't they know who we are?
Who sold that crude oil by Dr. Seuss? Sounds like a book. Who sold it?
Maybe it was one of the Who's.
Right?
Who?
Huh?
Who? Beltry?
Back in a profit
Listen.
by just a couple ticks here in crude. But
Oh, it's just
getting
very,
hammered, right?
very rangy.
What was that tape bomb in gold?
Do you see
Dip and then
you see
rip.
how that got recovered though?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, gold's right back up to where it dropped. Crude held to that 71.80 level again.
Did you get in gold or crude oil, Jay?
I didn't, Hogue, but I'm about to.
You're looking at it.
Yeah.
15-minute in gold actually triggered a long. If you're looking at a 15-minute ORB in gold, 15-minute triggered a long, and then it just fell right out of bed.
Of course.
So it doesn't matter what time frame you were looking at for opening range breakout in gold, you got stopped out on either side of the market. Bad day for the opening range in gold. Still super choppy. So what was that? Was that a tape bomb? Liquidity grab? Fat finger?
I don't know what that was, JD. Because
It had
it
to
just
be
immediately
tape bomb or
recovered it.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
Right back to where we were.
It's the only market that moved. I was looking at the wire,
Just
nothing
gold,
over
huh?
the wire here. So, Monday morning oddity.
Hmm. Taking some heat and crude now too. Man, just choppy all over to start the day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is FOMC week this week.
Yeah, we should kind of be expecting some random price
Kind of
action.
a
Rollover,
kind of a-
Fed week.
kind of a hurry up and wait.
What are the
I don't know what
equities
that
doing? Equities are flat.
Yeah. Everything's flat right
Everything.
No action anywhere right now. Yeah.
now. No. A little crazy.
What market should we be looking at? What's moving today?
I'm
Sound
gonna
off in
get
the chat.
long. I'm gonna get long micro gold here.
All right.
You like that?
Jay, you trade
that
platinum?
rejection below there, huh?
Yeah, I'm long 3 micro gold from 35.20,
Girl.
and I'm gonna risk below that low we just made on that rejection, whatever that was. Eddie, you said am I trading platinum? So platinum's probably been a better trade than everything over the last couple of weeks. I haven't looked at it. I know it is still making new highs. Kind of just grinding up, and it's up 4% today. So if you're looking for a market with a pretty big range and that has been trending recently, it's definitely platinum. We rejected off that 1300 last week, but it's been a mover. I don't know what's gotten into platinum, but it's been moving a lot.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you.
Taking a little more heat on this crude trade.
Still valid, but not really giving us what we want, is it?
Not at all.
Gold is
Chop
just
suey.
gold is not really cooperating either, is it, Jay?
No, it's not, and that's why I took this with micros. If we got down to that 200 moving average on the 30-minute, I'd take the trade with minis. But I'm taking this off of that volume that we just saw there. Kind of ran these
Uh,
lows, but yeah, not really cooperating right now. But
you're
not
you're
risking a
holding
whole
it
lot
till
either.
below the low of the session, right? Like 24, 25.
Yep. Yeah, I should maybe give it a little bit. Let me measure this risk. About two ATRs on the 30-minute chart, which is about $400. I'm okay risking that here.
Well, Eddie, why don't you tell us who's on the schedule today?
Yes.
The
Good
menu
idea.
for the 16th. Already past halfway point here in June. Well, coming up here for fast markets, we got Coach Jay's going to stick around. We got Jack Bilby. Coach Dakota will be joining us. Trade with Top Step. Jack and Gabe are going to be giving Gavin a call. Talk to Gavin here. Lunchbox Trading. JD Coach Vince and the Hoagster. Don't forget, we got Top Quiz today. Anne Marie's going to join me here at 1 o'clock. And right after that, we got Mecca with JD and Gabe. And then the day, Mo, Ahmed, Andre, and Dolby for Power. And that's who we got, Johnny. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Eddie. As always, Eddie, thank you very much. JD, thank you very much. Jay, I know you're going to be coming into fast markets pretty soon here, so we'll get some more of your wisdoms then. But we're just going to kind of chat a little bit. I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about rollover, what it is, and why it is. Again, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me and joining everybody. As always, it's a pleasure to see everybody in the chat. We love you all, and even though you might not love us, but that's okay.
How's that
So
possible?
rollover. Pardon?
How's it possible for them to not love us? I don't get it.
I don't understand how either, but it's just sometimes it seems that way. It's okay. It's all right. Not everybody makes everybody happy, but so rollover. Equities are in rollover. In the S&Ps, there's over 2 million contracts. And those 2 million contracts aren't all going to expire and settle in cash. Some of the major players that want to maintain those positions from the June contract and the September contract have to literally move those positions from the June contract into the September contract. There's a number of different ways they can do that. They can work the spread. If you want to buy the spread and you've got 10,000 contracts to move and you're buying the spread, you can work the bid on the spread and save yourself 10,000 ticks. Sometimes you're not going to get filled on it. Sometimes you're going to want to leg it. If you're long this September, if you're long the June and you want to move those longs into September, you're going to have to sell the June and buy the September back. It takes a lot of energy, and it's really where the longer time frame traders that have to move those positions over are focused. That's why there's a tendency for those periods of time to be relatively range bound. We've got a lot of information in these markets right now, and it's making it a little bit tougher for these traders to roll all these positions over. Typically in the S&Ps, and just strictly speaking about the S&Ps, tomorrow, Tuesday, is usually going to be the switch day. Either day, you can trade either today is fine. They're pretty much equal as far as volume is concerned. Make sure you're trading the September contract tomorrow. Expiration is on Friday. And usually there's going to be about 500,000 contracts that expire and settle in cash on Friday. But there's usually a big boost in open interest as all of these bigger traders try and move those positions from the June contract to the September contract. So just a little bit of a chat on what rollover is, what it means, why it happens. These contracts have ends, and they're agricultural, tangible commodities. You can actually take delivery or make delivery of them. Financials are all cash settled. So I think we are just about ready for Fast Markets. Happy Monday, everybody. Again, happy Friday, happy Father's Day if you enjoyed Father's Day yesterday, if you are a father. So we're going to head to Fast Markets here in just about 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go.